Chances are you're watching this video because you don't want spinning mops, and this is one of the last robots you can buy without them. My name is Jamie Andrews, and this is the Roborock Saros 20 Sonic, which uses a totally redesigned mopping system called Vibrating 5.0. Gone is the small spinning side mop from the Saros 10, replaced with a slide-out mop plate designed to get closer to baseboards and furniture. Taking a look at the redesigned mop, the first thing I noticed was just how much heavier the mopping plate is than the old one, resulting in 75% more downward mopping pressure from 8 to 14 newtons. The Pascal rating for the vacuum went up from 22,000 to 36,000, which is an impressive increase seeing the overall power rating remains at 65 watts. These are the main upgrades over the Saros 10, however there are a few smaller but notable downgrades. The Sonic retains the swing out side brush, but it can no longer lift in mop-only mode or when traveling to and from the dock. Runtime dropped by 30 minutes from 220 down to 190, and the dustbin shrank by 42 milliliters to 228 milliliters. The dock lost its frosted front glass, replaced with colored plastic, and beyond that the dock is mostly unchanged, though they did add dust bag drying and increase the hot water temperature. I ran the Roborock Saros 20 through 20 different tests to bring you the raw performance numbers. If you like this content, make sure you subscribe to support the many hours that go into these tests. With the latest generation, Roborock added a deep option for the cleaning route, but to keep things consistent, these tests were run in standard route mode, the same as all my vacuum tests. I scattered 54 grams of colored rice and sent the Sonic out with the vacuum level at the highest. It picked up 53 grams or 98%, a solid score and above the channel average of 96%, and matching the Saros 10 score exactly. On tile floor, things ended up quite differently. I ran the test 3 times and set it to standard route, and each time it left a strip of cat litter down the center. The best it could do was 116 grams or 89%, well below the Saros 10's 125 grams, and below the channel average of 91%. Out of curiosity, I ran a 4th test set to deep route, and it picked up 126 grams or 97%. The grout performance for the Duo Divide brush has always been about average, and nothing's really different here. Arguably, the most important reason to buy the Sonic is the mop, and in my mopping test where I bake on 4 milliliters of hot sauce, the 20 Sonic was able to clear all of the stains in just one pass, and it passed my white glove test. To my surprise, it looks like Roborock has spent some time advancing their side brush effectiveness. It reliably comes out in 90-degree corners as before, but now it comes out under cabinets, under doors, and in gaps. As for the slide-out mop plate, I was pretty excited to test it, and for the most part it worked well, with a few exceptions. The main issue I saw was with it dragging too closely to my quarter-round floor moldings, and several times it appeared to get hung up on raised areas of my home. The new flat side of the mop would also catch on surfaces when the robot rotates close to them. The large particle boost function did not work reliably, boosting for light debris while skipping the heavier debris it was designed for. It's still listed as a beta feature, so improvements are hopefully coming. The same beta tag applies to stain recognition. It properly detected the large spill and even lifted the front of the robot to increase downward pressure, but the end result after several passes was not great, as it left behind a good bit of soy sauce. This mop is not really designed for large spills though. It's better suited for roller mops and even some spinning mops with thicker mop pads. The Sonic keeps the same low profile as last year thanks to the retracting LiDAR, letting it clean under furniture that most robots cannot reach. Reactive AI 3.0 is also unchanged from the previous generation. Front-mounted structured light sensors, an RGB camera, and a vertical side laser work together to detect and avoid over 300 objects in your home. In my testing, I was pleased to see it avoid the USB cord, yet disappointed that it failed to properly avoid the fake waste sample and the black sock. My second test confirmed these results. avoiding the hard-to-see white cable while plowing over the very obvious fake pet waste. I decided to test it on hard floors. Most online reviewers only test on hard floors, and 90% of the time the objects will be avoided there, but not on carpets. Sure enough, on tile it dodged both waste samples without an issue. When it comes to cords, this generation is one step forward and one step back. I'm glad to see cords reliably avoided, something the Saros 10 could not manage, but the Sonic stays so far away from them that it leaves too much of the floor uncleaned. Another big upgrade is AdaptLift 3.0. I tested the same system recently with the Saros 20 and was quite impressed with its ability to cross a large double layer threshold. While it did take a bit of time to navigate, it cleared my double layer threshold measuring 4.4 and 3.8 centimeters, 8.3 centimeters total against the claim of 8.8, and it did it with the mop plate still attached. Next up was the black rug test, which is a struggle for some robots, but the Sonic passed it without any issues. I was able to get 137 minutes of runtime out of the 20 Sonic before it returned to the dock for a charge. Roborock claims 190 minutes in quiet mode, and my test was run with the vacuum set to standard and mixed floors with about 25% carpet and the carpet boost function turned on. While the dock's mop washing system is mechanically very similar to last year's model, it gained a few upgrades. The first being an increase in hot water temperature with a claim of 212 degrees Fahrenheit, and with the hottest setting enabled, I was able to measure a peak of 150 degrees, and it maintained the hot water for just shy of 2 minutes, which is a new record for my channel. I tested the dock's ability to wash the mop right after my hot sauce test. After 2 deep wash cycles on the dock, around 80% of the stains were removed, similar to what I saw on last year's model. As for drying the mop, I found the mop pad to be completely dry after 3 hours, as was the inside of the dock, including under the dock filter. I was able to match their claim of 131 degrees Fahrenheit of hot air, which might also be a first for my channel. I found the auto empty system worked well. It completely emptied the internal dustbin without much fuss. Before concluding, I want to highlight the pros and cons of the Roborock Saros 20. Let's start off with the cons. The object avoidance system needs lots of refinement through firmware updates. I'm not sure of the exact cause, but the hard floor performance was not very impressive in my test and in day-to-day use, and it might be related to the redesigned dustbin, which leads me to my next con. The dustbin design change is rather disappointing. We've seen the center opening and filter placement on several Roborock models, and all suffer from a common issue where the ends of the dustbin never fully fill up. I have mixed feelings about that slide-out mop. I think it can be greatly improved upon through firmware updates, and because this is a total redesign for Roborock, I think it's fair to say that they will refine it. There are quite a few places Roborock got it right with the Saros 20 Sonic. Compared to the Saros 10, you can see a lot of effort went into redesigning the mopping system, mostly for the better. The noise level on the Vibrating system is greatly reduced, even at its highest level. Water output and vibration intensity are now 2 separate independently controlled settings in the app, thank goodness. As for mopping performance, this is the best version of Vibrating that I have tested. The mop pads never dried out and it never left too much water on my floors, which helps to reduce streaking. One of the coolest new features works when it vacuums before mopping. The dock can now fully pre-wash the mopping pad without a robot attached, so the robot can simply attach it and go. AdaptLift 3.0 is a big upgrade from last year's model and can even dynamically adjust its height for different carpet thicknesses. The Saros 20 Sonic is far from a perfect robot. However, you must keep in mind the industry appears to be moving away from this style mop, and for those who insist on it, your choices are slim. If you don't mind having spinning mop pads on your robot, I'll leave a link to my Saros 20 review below. Mop pad differences aside, it is a better robot of the two. Another consideration is purchasing the Saros 10, which at the time of making this video is still for sale for several $100s less than the 20 Sonic. I'll link that review below as well. Drop a comment below and let me know which Saros you would pick. Links to purchase all models are in the video description, and clicking them goes a long way to help support in-depth reviews, just like this one. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.